Hit Show's shocking 2025 Dubai World Cup upset. The ultimate underdog story. The name nobody expected. Hit Show wasn't born into global stardom. He didn't carry the myth of a Pegasus or the hype of $1 million colt. In a world obsessed with flashy names and perfect records, Hit Show was the quiet one, lurking in the shadows of racing's elite. No headlines, no hysteria. Just a workhorse with grit in his blood and steel in his stride. By the time the 2025 Dubai World Cup approached, the world was buzzing about Forever Young, Mixto, and other crowd pullers. Hit Show, he was brushed off as filler. At 80-1 odds, pundits didn't even bother analyzing his chances. He wasn't just underestimated, he was practically invisible. But that's the thing about champions. They don't need hype, they need a moment. And Hit Show was built for that moment. Owned by Wathnan Racing and trained by Brad Cox, Hit Show didn't scream greatness. He whispered it. Every stride in training, every late charge in minor races was a sign. If only anyone had paid attention. No one saw him coming. No one believed he could do it. And that's exactly why he did. In the end, Hit Show wasn't just a name on the entry list. He was the name nobody could forget. Origins of a sleeper star. Hit Show didn't explode onto the scene with fireworks. He didn't arrive wrapped in million-dollar expectations or bathed in royal bloodlines. He was bred in Kentucky, USA. Solid American stock. Sired by Candy Ride, a proven stallion, and out of Actress, a graded stakes winner, Hit Show had pedigree, just not the kind that made people drool. He was a blue-collar colt in a white-collar game. Trained by Brad Cox, one of America's most respected horsemen, Hit Show wasn't babied. He was sculpted, forged. Every gallop was purpose-driven. No shortcuts, no glitter, just relentless, old-school work. His early career showed flashes, wins in allowance races, gritty finishes in graded stakes, but never dominance. He didn't dazzle, he just fought. To the outside world, he was decent. To insiders, he was dangerous. The kind of horse that, with the right break and a wide-open stretch, could ruin someone's fairy tale. And yet, as the months passed and the spotlight stayed elsewhere, Hit Show kept growing. Stronger, sharper, smarter. By the time he stepped onto the sands of Maidan, he wasn't a fluke. He was a sleeper, loaded with firepower, cloaked in doubt. Everyone was looking at stars. No one noticed the storm brewing beneath them. Enter Wathnan Racing. Just weeks before the 2025 Dubai World Cup, a ripple ran through the racing world. Wathnan Racing had purchased Hit Show. The Qatari powerhouse, known for snapping up elite talent and shaking the status quo, had made a move no one saw coming. Not for a favorite, not for a rising star, but for an 80-1 outsider that most dismissed as mid-tier at best. Why Hit Show? Why now? Some called it a gamble. Others whispered desperation. But insiders knew Wathnan doesn't play dice, they play chess. With their eyes firmly on global domination, Wathnan Racing had been quietly assembling a war chest of horsepower. And while the world focused on their flashier acquisitions, they saw something others didn't. A fighter hiding in plain sight. Trained by the ever-reliable Brad Cox, Hit Show wasn't flashy, but he was sound, seasoned, and peaking at the perfect time. Wathnan didn't just buy a horse. They bought timing, guts, and the element of surprise. The moment the ink dried, eyebrows were raised. But Wathnan Racing wasn't looking for applause. They were hunting impact. And at the $12 million Dubai World Cup, they didn't just show up with a horse. They unleashed a headline, training with intent. While the world drooled over Forever Young's form and Mixto's flair, Hit Show was clocking in. not showing off. Behind the high walls of Maidan's elite training grounds, he wasn't putting on a spectacle. He was getting lethal. Under the watchful eye of Brad Cox's team, every gallop had a goal. No fluff, no showboating, just hard, surgical preparation. Morning breezes turned into precision drills. His gate work tightened. His closing stretch sharpened like a blade. While cameras chased flashier names, Hit Show trained like a hitman, quiet, cold, and calculating. Florent Geroux, his rider, knew what they had. They weren't aiming to place. They were tuning up for war. In the final weeks, there was no drama, no distractions, only rhythm, repetition, and silent confidence, building stride by stride. Where others sought headlines, Hit Show hunted edges, fractions of seconds, slivers of opportunity. He didn't need noise to be ready. He just needed space, sand, and silence. Because when race day came, it wouldn't be about who looked good in the paddock. It would be about who could kill in the final furlong. And Hit Show, he was sharpening for that exact moment, with intent and no mercy. The Field of Giants. The 2025 Dubai World Cup wasn't just a race. It was a battlefield of legends. Forever Young, the Japanese sensation. Mixto, Frankie Dettori's speed machine. Ushba Tesoro, the seasoned titan with a Dubai crown already under his belt. And then, Hit Show, the 81 afterthought, buried at the bottom of betting slips, dismissed as cannon fodder in a war of giants. This was a field built for spectacle. Global champions, multi-million-dollar pedigrees, jockeys with gold-plated resumes, horses groomed to dominate. The media hailed it as a clash of superpowers. And in that storm of hype, Hit Show stood silent, small on paper, but coiled like a spring. Nobody gave him a shot. Not the bettors, not the analysts, not even the loudest racing insiders. But his team knew. Brad Cox had seen the late-blooming spark. Florent Geroux had felt the power in his stride. Wathnan Racing had rolled the dice. But they weren't gambling. They were backing a time bomb. Because what no one seemed to grasp was this. In a field of giants, sometimes it's the one you don't see coming that hits the hardest. And Hit Show wasn't just coming to run, he was coming to shock the world. Race day, silence, before the storm. March 29th, 2025. Maidan pulsed with electricity. The air was thick with heat, money, and expectation. Tens of thousands packed the grandstands, eyes glued to the stars. Forever Young, Mixto, Ushba Tesoro. Cameras flashed, pundits pontificated. Every gate had a narrative, every runner had a story. Except one. Gate 10, Hit Show, silent, ignored, forgotten. In the chaos of race day glamour, Hit Show stood still. No tension in his eyes, no wasted energy in his stride. He was calm. Not because he didn't belong, but because he knew he did. While other teams buzzed with pressure and nerves, Brad Cox's crew moved like a unit that had nothing to prove, just something to finish. Florent Geroux mounted with ice in his veins. No pressure, no grand plan, just instinct and timing. They weren't there for the cameras. They were there for a clean break, a good trip, and a late strike that would leave jaws on the floor. As the horses circled in the paddock, the crowd missed it. The bookmakers missed it. But the storm was coming. And from the overlooked shadows of Gate 10, Hit Show was about to blow the roof off Maidan. The last bend, shock. The gates flew open, and as expected, the stars surged. Mixto took command. Forever Young stalked. Ushba Tesoro waited like a sniper. And Hit Show? He dropped to the rear, almost invisible. Forgotten before the first turn. But Florent Geroux wasn't worried. He knew exactly what he was sitting on. As they thundered down the backstretch, Hit Show hugged the rail like a ghost. No move, No panic, just rhythm. And then, the final bend. The moment when champions charge and pretenders fold. Geroux whispered, and Hitshow responded, like a fuse had been lit. He shifted outside, past one, then another. Horses who had been monsters on paper suddenly looked slow, stunned. And there, just ahead, Mixto, Frankie Dettori's seasoned warrior, charging with history in his hands. But in the final 150 meters, Meydan went quiet. Hitshow was flying, not grinding, not stretching, exploding. With each desperate stride, he devoured the lead, and in the final seconds, he erased Mixto. The crowd gasped. The commentators stuttered. This wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. From last to legend, from overlooked to untouchable. The 2025 Dubai World Cup didn't end with a bang. It ended with Hitshow, detonating everything we thought we knew. The world reacts. As Hitshow crossed the finish line, the shockwave rippled far beyond Meydan's grandstands. Punters who had bet on favorites stared slack-jawed at their screens. Racing legends, commentators, and insiders were left scrambling for words. An 80-1 outsider had just rewritten the script of the richest race on Earth. Social media exploded. Memes flooded timelines. Headlines screamed disbelief. The impossible winner, from nobody to nobody's business. The sleeper that shook the world. Overnight, Hitshow became a symbol of hope, grit, and raw, unapologetic power. Experts analyzed every frame, every stride, every split-second decision. How had this underdog, ignored by the odds and overlooked by the media, toppled giants? The answer was simple. He didn't just run the race, he owned it. His story spread from racetracks in Kentucky to betting shops in Dubai, from quiet farms in America to the bustling streets of Doha. The racing world suddenly remembered something it often forgets, that legends don't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes they burst through in silence and leave a roar no one can ignore. Hitshow wasn't just a winner, he was a revolution, and the world was watching. The jockey's masterclass. In a race packed with champions, it was Florent Geroux's ride on Hitshow that became the defining performance of the 2025 Dubai World Cup. Calm, collected, and razor-sharp, Geroux delivered more than just a ride. He orchestrated a masterstroke. From the start, he knew patience was key. No reckless early moves, no wasted energy. He kept Hitshow relaxed, tucked away near the back, saving every ounce of strength for the critical moment. While others fought for position, Geroux mapped the race with surgical precision. As the horses rounded the final bend, Geroux's instincts kicked into overdrive. He edged Hitshow out, finding the perfect gap along the rail. His timing was flawless. Just when the leaders began to tire, he unleashed the colt's full power. It was a calculated gamble, a bold move made with nerves of steel. With every powerful stride, Geroux held steady, guiding Hitshow's surge past rivals like Mixto and Forever Young. That final burst wasn't just speed, it was a testament to trust, skill, and sheer guts. In Dubai's glittering history of great rides, Florent Geroux's victory lap on Hitshow stands as a timeless masterclass in race riding brilliance. Conclusion: the underdog who shook the world. Hitshow's triumph wasn't a stroke of luck or a fluke. It was destiny forged in silence. A quiet storm built on grit, precision, and relentless will. In a racing world obsessed with pedigrees, price tags, and pre-race predictions, Hitshow tore through the script and reminded us all of a powerful truth. Heart, hustle, and perfect timing still rule the game. From overlooked outsider to the richest race on earth, His victory was a message. No matter how bright the spotlight on the favorites, the underdog's fire can never be extinguished. With every thunderous stride down Maidan's stretch, Hit Show shook the foundations of horse racing's elite, leaving a mark that will echo for decades. The 2025 Dubai World Cup wasn't just a race. It was a turning point. It was the moment when the overlooked became legendary, when the quiet colt silenced the doubters and rewrote history with sheer power and resolve. Hit Show didn't just win a race, he won hearts. And in doing so, he reminded the world why we watch, to witness the impossible become real. This was more than an upset. This was a revolution.